Hi guys, it's Aegis here, and today I'm going to show you a deck profile that I seriously haven't got the chance to test out, right? To find out if it's like complete or not, but it's more like an idea, so you know what I'm thinking on building this deck. Because right now Hong Kong is not in a very good condition that we can just go out every single week and play card games, but of course just that won't stop me building new decks and trying to find some chances to go out and play. So let's start with the deck profile, and after that I will try to make some fight videos with it and see if I want to make some adjustment, and if I do, then I will show you guys again. So the clan that I'm doing right now is Great Nature, because Isabel is a very interesting card and almost changing how random Great Nature is, but we will talk about it in a bit. So starter as usual, and then I am running 4 of the Isabel. Again, she's the key to the new deck and the main reason that I want to update the deck. So her skill is first is a permanent skill. If your opponent Vanguard is grade 3 or higher, then your skill, let's say to run one of it, becomes running both, which will be relating to the second skill as a skill that when she appears at Vanguard Riga Circle, so blasting 1, then drop the top card of the deck to the drop zone, and depending on the card type, then it will become one of the following. If it's a normal unit, during the turn this unit will get 15k power. If it is a trigger unit, then the card that you put to the drop zone with the skill is go to your hand instead. So if your opponent is a grade 3, by soul blasting 1 you get both. And this permanent skill doesn't say only relating to her own skill, so as long as you use other skill that depending if it's a normal unit or trigger unit, you will get both effects. So this really helps, because in the past when we play Great Nature, we are really like gambling. When we want a normal unit, we always get a trigger unit. When we need a trigger unit, we always got a normal unit. So it's sometimes very hard to get what you want unless you are lucky, or unless you try to stack it, but so far there's no way to actually do it officially, manually and correctly. So but now with Isabel, you don't even need a grade 3 in soul, you just need your opponent to be a grade 3 to get both effects off, and that can be helpful. And then I am running 4 of the Leopold. Even though his skill is most likely just Vanguard skill, and with him as a Ray guard, you usually won't be doing a lot of great stuff, and you need your soul to have a grade 3 to get his skill to go off twice. And even if you ride him on top of a grade 3 and have a Ray guard Isabel, she won't give you to get both effects because it's only a Vanguard skill. But Leopold is still a very strong card, even though you don't have a grade 3 in soul. The picking, the gambling is still worth it. So of course, first skill is when your soul has a grade 3, you can use both. You can use the second skill 2 times, and then which is if you drop your top deck to drop zone. If it's a normal unit, look at top 4 of your deck and choose up to 2 grade 2 or lower Rigas and call the Riga circle and shuffle your deck. If it's a trigger unit, this unit will get 15k and a crit. So no matter what you get, you don't actually have disadvantage, and sometimes this helps you. Like if you, for example, if you get 2 triggers unit, you get 30k and 2 crits. Sometimes that helps you to win the game. Even though I think Isabel doing a little bit more on recycling your resources and also gaining your power is more helpful, but as a backup, because you won't always get Isabel most of the time, and there's a lot of cards in the deck that relies on dropping cards from the top deck to drop zone. So I still want to use Leopold. And then next, I am running 2 of the new card, which is Hammerskate's Rifle, Rocket Pencil, Hamdong. So this card is actually very strong, which has a Vanguard Riga skill once per turn. If on your extra Riga circle you have another unit appears, counter +1 and put 1 of your hand into your soul. During the turn, this unit and that unit will get 10k power. And if you have 2 or more extra circle, then you will draw a card. So not talking about the second skill that draw you a card, the first skill get 10k for this unit, and the unit that you call is very helpful. Because when you see my trigger lineup, then you will see the reason that why I want units that can always pump themselves up. And also, as long as you ride 2 times, you're already drawing 2 cards from XL2, because you most likely will be using XL2. And then with this guy, you can always draw a card, and even though he takes up a counter blast and 1 of your hand, but you still need to soul blast for your Isabel, so he helps you to free in the soul, so you don't have to like worry too much. And basically that's the grade 3 lineup. And entering grade 2s, first running 4 Binoculars Tiger, mainly because I need to have more cards that drop stuff from top deck to drop zone, and of course you can choose not to use it, like the skill I mean, because you need to counter blast 1, and if it's a normal unit you draw 1, if it's trigger unit then you retire your opponent's Vanguard, and then 3 of your front row units get 5k. So he himself, as long as you get a trigger unit, you can pop his stuff and give himself 5k first, and then choose 2 other units to get 5k, but have to be front row. So still good. As long as you can retire, I think it's helpful, because there are always some targets that you want to kill, and if your deck can pop a unit just by counter blasting 1, then why not give it a chance? So he's still very strong. And I'm running 3 of the Barcock Zebra. This is one of the reasons that why I need to use like Binoculars Tiger, Isabel, Leopold, all this stuff, because as long as I have a card from my deck goes to my drop zone, during the turn he will get 5k. So even Isabel's skill, it say the card that went to drop zone go back to your hand, so the card did actually go to the drop zone from the top of the deck, so always can get the 5k. And then if you use a Binoculars Tiger, you get another 5k. If you got a trigger unit from Binoculars Tiger, you can also give you another 5k. And then on an XL2 circle, you're already gaining 5k already, so that's like 15-20k plus easily to hit high numbers. So that's why I'm running him, not on the version before, because in the past I think other units have more useful skills, but now since I have more units that can drop stuff, and they're most likely going to help me, because with Isabel, even with Binoculars Tiger, I can get both effects off, so I basically won't lose anything and can give power. So Zebra has the chance to shine now, which is great. And then I'm running 4 of this card, which is Howard's Case Rifle, Red and Blue Pencil, Hamhiko. So this is a new card from the set, and again another strong card. So his skill is a Vanguard Regard appearing skill, Counter Blast and Soul Blasting one. Look at the top 2 cards from your deck, add 1 to your hand, and put 1 to the drop. So this will also activate Barco Zebra. And then once per turn, if you have a card from the deck go to the drop zone, during the turn you can have this unit to plus 5k. So compared to Zebra, this will only activate once. And interestingly, they do have a wording saying you can choose to get the 5k or not, which I'm not too sure why they put it like that. Maybe in the future there will be skills that say if you gain power, if your opponent's unit gain power during the turn, then something will happen. But of course, so far we don't know. But they give you an option, so you can choose to add or choose not to add. Or sometimes help you to adjust power, because like if we are going to play like premium, then there are units that counting how high your power is, and sometimes that 5k will just help your opponent to increase the defense, like with G Guardian, which usually you can see from DP, like the X Caliph, I think is what it's called. That if your opponent regard is, or if the attacking card is like whatever power, then you can give more shield or give Vanguard power or something like that. So sometimes maybe it's because of that, but I'm not sure. But he's useful, but then because he take both Counter Blast and Soul Blast, you need to be using him very carefully. Even though if you don't use the first skill to get yourself another card, you can still like use other cards to drop cards from your deck and get 5k. And then I am running one of these Scientists of Black Sheen Midfielder. The reason I put her in is just basically for testing, because so far I don't see her to be extremely useful. Her skill is when she appears, card last 1, put the top card of the deck to the drop zone, depending on card type, select one to use the skill. If it's a normal unit during the turn, the battle of this unit, your opponent, when they call cards from Guardian Circle, they need to at least 2 of them, 2 above. And then if any trigger unit, then this card will get a crit. But if you get crit and you don't have power, she's not going to be that useful. If you are going to have guard restriction and you don't have a crit, then that's also not going to be helpful, because she's only a 9k and both skill won't get you power. So you need to call her on a Excel circle to get basic 5k, and then maybe using a Hamdome to get 10k for her. And then the most ideal situation is your Vanguard is Isabel, so you can get both effects off, and then Hamdome get her another 10k to hit for 24, 2 crit with guard restriction, and then you hope for another trigger to put her up to like 34, so opponent cannot guard. Which, if you do have this kind of ideal situation, great. But if not, probably zebra with high power, and then you suddenly get a crit trigger can be even more helpful. That's why I do see a lot of people not actually running her at all, but I do want to put her in for testing and as well as a secret weapon, because if they see they see me playing one like on the damage zone when I take damage, then they will think, oh, this guy have this unit there, so maybe I need to keep my hands carefully if he got a second copy, which I actually don't. Or if they don't even see one, then I suddenly put her out. Like after all these guys gaining power, then they put a lot of cards, they only got one card and thought they might survive, and then I just play her out. So they need to recalculate how they use the hand. That's why I think it is useful, but after testing, she might be gone, but at least I want to give her a chance to try. So there's my grade 2s and entering grade 1s. So first, I'm running 4 of the Monoculus Tiger because he's another source to drop cost to drop zone from deck. So when attack or boost, so plus 1, then put the top card of the deck to drop zone. If it's a normal unit during the battle, your opponent cannot use Sentinel. If it's a trigger unit during the battle, your opponent cannot use trigger unit. Can only use trigger unit. So with Isabel, both can get off. So they can only use their crit, their fronts, their heal to guard this attack, basically. So it can be helpful sometimes if you got back numbers and you can force them to guard, and then you can use your Mathilda to finish them off, which I think is good. Or you can even use Monoculus Tiger plus Mathilda to force your opponent to drop a lot of hands. So, in many ways, so still useful. And then I am running 4 of the scale token. So when this card appears from hand to Regal Circle by Soul Blasting 1, you can put other of your Regard back to your hand, and then a once per turn skill, if you have a card from deck goes to the drop zone, during the turn you can have this unit to plus 5k, so like Harm Hiko, you can choose to get power, and then you can also try to recycle one of your key unit, because some of them are like skills that only when they appears, so you can choose to get something back, and like this, then you can recycle. Or even like a Mathilda, I think, yeah, Mathilda, then you can reuse the skill again. And also the 5k do helps. So he's in. And I'm running 3 of the Cecile, Prober of Blackjack Cecile. When this card appears in Vanguard or Regal Circle, so blasting 1, then put the top deck to drop zone. If it's a normal unit, it's soul charge 1, and during the turn you will get 5k. If it's a trigger unit, draw 2 and discard 2 cards. To help you filter your deck early, or like the Mega Colony 8k, so you soul blast and then you soul charge and you get 5k. So I do see him useful, and can be recycled by scale token, which I think is great. I do see people are running things like the promo, but unfortunately I don't have those, because those are quite hard to get in Hong Kong, and unless I go to Japan or I have friends going to Japan and can help me to get some, which probably will not be cheap now because more and more people are trying to play Great Nature, not because they're absolutely strong or what, but it's a new deck, so everyone do wants the promo, because that promo can just retire itself to help you get the card from that, like these guys drop back to your hand, so you kind of don't waste them. But since I don't have them, so this is my lineup. Which also, let me think of maybe using a tank mouse, but at the moment I want to try the version without it and see if the issue is back. If not, then I might just keep this lineup, or maybe take one Monoculus Tiger out for an seal or something else, or if I find him useful, then I will put him in. So you can see this is in different sleeves, so I actually do have another deck here, because when I first play Great Nature, I do have almost 2 sets of stuff, except the VR, so I can actually build 2 decks and play different things. And this time I am also thinking of doing that, because I see the gorilla is interesting, and I'm trying to find a way to actually make him useful and might be strong, but we will see, because I'm still thinking of a good way to use it. Not right now. Maybe I can think out of something like the Link Joker Cyber Dragon deck that works, but we will see. And for trigger lineup, I'm running 8 crits, 4 draws, 2 fronts, and 4 heals. So as I talked about it earlier, because my deck is focusing on crit more, so I do want my units to try to gain power themselves, so they are really high, they can at least hit 1 damage, and if I can get a crit, then I can hit them more harder. But I don't want my opponent to think that I am only running crits but not fronts, so I'm putting 2 fronts in there. Sometimes it's helpful. If they don't appear at all, I don't really care, because most of my units are having strong power already, but in like a strange spot, if a front appears, sometimes it will change the game, so I just want to add a little spice in there that I might actually get into them. So that's the deck. I think how it runs is quite simple. You just try to get your Isabel up and running early, so that you can use like most of the skill on both sides, so you don't have to gamble. And with high power, with crit, with runs, retiring and keep drawing, hopefully you can finish your opponent off early, because this deck is not for a long game. If you play it too long, you will be decking out. I haven't actually tested out if Great Nature is faster or Grand Blue is faster to decking out themselves, but for most cases, most decks are trying to finish you off early too, or they can defend themselves very easily, so that if you deck out first, then it's hard to catch up if you don't go fast. So yep, thanks for watching, and let me know your comments how you feel about this version, and of course don't tell me to put the PR in, because I don't have any. If I do, I might actually put 1 to 2 in, so I can take out 1 Monoculus Tiger and maybe 1 Cecile. But until I get my hands off them, it's likely to stay in this form unless I decided to put a tank mouse in. if I want to put something back to my hand. So yeah, again, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Signing off.